Welcome back to AFA Today. Sing along if you like for that rendition. We're going to have our producer, Brent, maybe come in here and lead a chorus with you. Did that, Brent? No. Brent shaking his head, no. We won't be doing that this hour. We'll leave that up to the next show when Kevin comes back and he can lead you along. Hey, good to be with you today. Many battles out there, as we've been talking about, and sometimes it just takes some time to win those battles, to convince people to get engaged and get involved. Here at American Family Radio, American Family Association, one of the battles we've been fighting over the last several years is basically getting the Christ back in Christmas. You know, the war that has been going on, basically by corporations in this country, to remove the name Christmas and happy holidays and all of that sort of thing. They want your Christmas dollars, folks, but they're worried about offending people, or that the word Christmas might offend people. Also in our schools, we have done so many stories over the last several years. Of course, kids aren't allowed to have Christmas concerts. They're not allowed to say the word Christmas, hand out Christmas cards, greeting people. Some people get offended by that. Okay, Johnny, you can't say Merry Christmas to someone, and on it has gone. And a lot of people are getting very frustrated and fed up with that nonsense because it is the Christmas season. You know, we don't tell other people that they can't say Happy Hanukkah. I welcome that. You wish your Jewish friends Happy Hanukkah if you want. But unfortunately, there have been so many court cases now. Schools in particular have just capitulated, put up the white flag because the ACLU may not be happy, or this atheist group or another atheist group is not happy. And they've outlawed using the word Christmas, Merry Christmas, all of those sorts of things. Well, the state of Texas is fighting back against that. And one of the members of the legislature there is Houston Republican Dwayne Bohac, and he joins us on the line right now. Dwayne, welcome to the program.
Thank you. It's a pleasure to be here, all the way from Houston, Texas.
All the way from Houston, Texas. Did the cold weather reach that far south?
Yeah, it did, but we didn't get the freeze that Dallas got. So we're comfortable down here. We were in probably the low 40s, which is it's good to have the change of seasons down here because normally we're very hot and humid down here in Houston because we're so close to the Gulf Coast.
That natural air conditioning. Well, listen, tell us a little bit about this. I'm not sure, are you calling it the Merry Christmas Law in Texas? Tell us all about it.
Yes, so that's what we kind of nicknamed it because it kind of fit and it sounds happy and it reflects what the bill actually does. But I'll tell you the inspiration for it. I picked up my 6-year-old son, who was in first grade at the time, from public school, and I asked him, I picked him up at the flagpole, and I asked him how his day went. And this is what he told me. And I asked him that every day, and I pick him up from the same place virtually every day. And he said, Dad, we decorated the holiday tree in our classroom with holiday ornaments. Mm-hmm. And I said, so I simply asked him, matter of fact, I said, well, what word is that word holiday taking the place of, or what is it modifying? He goes, well, Christmas. Holiday means Christmas. I said, exactly. And it's silliness, sheer silliness, that we cannot call this thing that celebrates Christmas a Christmas tree. We have to refer to it as a holiday tree, which is crazy because there's no such thing as a holiday called holiday. And if it referred to more than one holiday, to be grammatically accurate, you would have to call it a holidays, plural tree. So that word holiday really is just a substitute for one word, and that one word is Christmas. So I went into the administration offices, and I asked him, I said, can anybody tell me what that tree is representing, that holiday tree? I said, I can tell you what holidays it's not representing. It's not representing Easter. It's not representing Halloween. It's not representing July 4th. That holiday tree, that word holiday, is taking the place of a word called Christmas. I said, can anybody tell me why we're calling it a holiday tree in our classrooms? Not only were they calling it a holiday, but they had to cut out letters above it that said holiday tree. I can't make this stuff up. And so they tell me, well, we're fearful of being sued. Well, sued by who? Well, sued by the ACLU and other atheist groups. That's who threatened to sue, and because school districts should be tight with their money, that they just back down because they don't want to be sued and waste money on a frivolous junk lawsuit. Even though this is all settled policy, okay, this is all settled, but because the words because of what we can and can't do are warehoused up in Washington, D.C., and we don't pull them down to our states so that we can compare what we're doing to the bright lines of state law, we just don't know what those precedents say. So all we did, we pulled down various Supreme Court rulings over several cases, and we stuck them into state law. And we said you can't say Merry Christmas, you can say Happy Hanukkah, and you can say Happy Hanukkah. You can sing Christmas music, and you can put out a menorah, and you can put out a nativity, and you can put out a Christmas tree and a snowman and a Santa. We just stuck basically what the Supreme Court said, their exact language, into state law, and we're encouraging all other states who have an issue with this to follow suit with their own version of the Merry Christmas bill.
Now, I understand that you have some bipartisan support for this.
Yes, we did. I went to one of my Democratic colleagues on the floor, Richard Raymond. He's a Democrat from down south at the border near El Paso. He is a delight. He is a believer. Just a great man. And he worked the Democrat side of the aisle, and I worked the Republican side of the aisle, and we knew what people would have issues with it, based on their political philosophy or their political worldview. So we worked them privately so we didn't have this big blow-up on the House floor and get in discussions about everything from soup to nuts. So it was really great. The bill ended up passing with 2 people present not voting and 2 people voting no, and the remainder of the people voting yes. And we have 150 House members. So basically 146 voted for it, 4 abstained or voted no, and the entire Senate voted for it. It just makes common sense, and it's sad we even have to do this. It really is that the culture in America has come to this, but it's something we needed to do. We needed to put bright lines into state law so that school districts could not hide behind this whole political correctness worldview.
Have you heard from the ACLU or any atheist group that they're going to challenge this?
No, we haven't. I mean, they told us all along the way they would, but, we had constitutional lawyers from the Liberty Institute draft this law. So we were quite confident that what we had would stand any type of constitutional muster, because all we did was take the words of the Supreme Court and stick them verbatim into state law. What they run around and say, we make up this war on Christmas, which is nuts. It's not made up. We just recently had a school district, Frisco ISD here in Texas, a red county. You can't get redder than Frisco County. But listen, they are so worried about not offending anybody. Well, if we have to go through life not offending anybody, you're not going to choose cheerleaders for school. You're not going to have A, B, C, D's, and F's in school. You're not going to have people make the football team or not make the football team. You're not going to even celebrate Thanksgiving, for crying out loud. Some people that are not Americans but are legal citizens here in the U.S. don't celebrate Thanksgiving. So this whole idea that you have to satisfy everybody is just nuts. It's impossible. You can't do it in a family. Not everybody who sits down at the dinner table at night wants to eat the same thing.
Yeah.
Okay? But there's some things that you just do. And Christmas and Hanukkah are so quintessential America that if you don't want to do it, don't do it. But don't prevent those of us who do want to from doing it. And that's what this bill says. It makes it permissive. It doesn't prescribe it, but it says you cannot adopt a rule that says people cannot do this in the public school system.
All right. So typically now going into a classroom in a school district in Texas, you can have a Christmas tree or a picture of a Christmas tree. You could. Can you sing? Can the kids sing Christmas carols if they want and do that kind of thing?
Yes.
Wow, that is amazing. When we have spent so many years here in this Christmas battle, to have this kind of law put in place, there should be a lot of rejoicing for it, because let's face it, Representative, that the public school system has been on the front lines of this battle against Christmas.
Yeah, they have, because they want to take the Constitution, the Declaration of Independence, and the exceptionalism of America and the exceptionalism of our culture out of the education system, so that we're just like the rest of the world, not really standing for anything or calling anything right and calling anything wrong, which is why we're left to talk about puppy dogs and trees in our public school system. and moral relativism. It's just sickening what goes on, and primarily peddled by the liberal leftists.
Have you had any other states calling you and saying, hey, we're hearing what's going on in Texas. We'd like to do something here. Do you think this is going to spread?
It has. It's already spread to 6 states. Oklahoma, a state rep down in Oklahoma filed his bill on Monday. New Jersey has already filed its bill. Indiana has filed its bill. Mississippi has filed its version of the bill. And I think Alabama is the 5th state. So 6 states are already doing this now. And, of course, we'd like to see all the remainder do it if that particular state has it. You know, if they're experiencing the same thing we are in our Texas public schools.
Well, Representative Bohac of Houston, Texas, we congratulate you, and I want to go back to what you said right off the top of this interview. You were picking up your 6-year-old boy, was it, at school?
That's right, from the 1st grade. From
the 1st grade, and when he told you it was about a holiday tree, you took the initiative to go in and talk to those school officials. And right. I think just in doing that simple thing, and that's something, you don't have to be a state rep to do that. A parent can go in, any parent can go in and talk to school officials about this. Yes,
and we have to do it kindly. The Bible exhorts us to be kind to one another, tenderhearted, forgiving. So we do have to go in there with the right attitude, and that's important. But then we need to stick to it. Don't take no for an answer. A lot of times they like to roll over, we Christians, because we typically do have a worldview that's more peaceful and kind and loving and so forth. But we need to stand up sometimes. You can't do this. It's not okay. It's not okay.
Well, State Representative from Houston, Texas, Dwayne Bohac, thank you so much for what you did and what you're doing. And we hope that this battle that you have started, that you have put in place, really does spread across the country. I think a lot of Christians can celebrate that.
Amen. Well, listen, thank you. Merry Christmas to your audience, and keep up the fight.
Merry Christmas to you and your family and the folks there in Texas.
Bye-bye.
God bless. State Representative Dwayne Bohac. There you have it, folks. And I wanted to go back to how that interview started. Now, he's a state rep, yes, but he took the initiative as a dad, as a parent, to go in and discuss, as the representative said nicely, with school officials, hey, are you aware that these restrictions that you have imposed on yourself out of fear of a lawsuit doesn't comply with what has been passed by laws in Washington? And State Rep Bohac taking the time, and with the support of Democrats in the legislature there in Texas, taking the time to go up and read the rulings that have come down from the Supreme Court on this and write a state law around that. It has opened the doors. And so great to hear that several other states are already doing this. This is about, if there's no other incentive to do this, this is about your kids' freedom in your schools, their religious freedom, their right to express, their First Amendment right to express themselves. As I say, this battle has been long. It's not over yet, but it's good to get this great news out of Texas today and other states following suit on this, fighting back against the ACLU, fighting back against these atheist groups. Parents taking action, explaining to officials, and having state officials, like in Texas, Democrats and Republicans, getting together and defending the freedom of kids in our schools. I think that's absolutely terrific. Hey, listen, we've had a busy day on this program, but want to remind you just in the next few minutes about our Christmas Critter campaign that we've been running for a number of years here in American Family Radio. We get together this time of the year with Gospel for Asia, and it's about giving you the opportunity, folks, that you can buy critters to help families in countries like India, Nepal, and Sri Lanka. Help poor families get some economic stability. Now, how does all of this work? Well, very simple. You get to buy an animal. Now, it might be a couple of chickens for $11, real cheap, a goat, $70, a water buffalo, $460, a pair of lambs, $130, And on and go. There's a lot more information that you can get at afr.net on the kinds of things that you can purchase. Now, when you commit your money to this, and I'll give you some phone numbers in just a second, so if you need to get a piece of paper and a pen, do that. When we do that, when you contribute that money, 100% of it goes to that campaign, all right? And I'll tell you what, the testimonies that have come back over the years of what this means to these families. You know, you take, for example, a couple of chickens. They estimate between the couple of chickens 200 to 300 eggs a year. Can you imagine? And what a blessing that is. For a lot of us, let's face it, in affluent America, that may not seem like a whole lot. But to families in these very impoverished countries, it means a great deal. Furthermore, these animals that your money purchases, they're delivered by missionaries on the field in these countries. And yes, all important, they get a chance to share the gospel of Jesus Christ. This is why this is so important. All right, ready to copy down the numbers? 877-907-GOAT, G-O-A-T, 877-907, GOAT, or 877-907-4628, 877-907-4628, or you can visit afr.net. What an incredible cause at this Christmas season. Hey, been good to be with you the last couple of days. Kevin McCullough will be back later in the week, so stand by. Great to have you here at AFA today. Much more great programming coming your way here at American Family Radio. God bless. Have a great day, and bye for now.